Sean J. Granwick is Sean Gran, and today I'm interviewing the incredible Leven Kali. How's it going, man?
It's going good, man. How you doing?
I'm good, man. Yeah, so you've been to London a few times before, right? So you played at Coco for like the Jazz Cartier show. Yeah. How was that, and how do you find the city?
That was incredible. The city has a lot of love. A lot of people didn't know me, and they still had a great time, so it was dope.
Oh, wow. Yo, beautiful. Okay, check it out. So, this is our first time headlining a show overseas.
So, to start, what kind of music did you grow up on?
I grew up on funk, R&B, songs out of the American Songbook and shit like that, too. Just classics, and then the shit that my friends put me onto.
Yeah, sick. And your family is quite musical, right? So how would you say they influenced your sound, and like what were they playing?
Everywhere from, religious music to pop music to TV show music, everything, I was just surrounded by music.
Yeah, sick. And if you had to name a few artists that your mum and dad were playing, because they are also musicians, right? Yeah. Where like who would be the key artists other than Stevie Wonder?
My parents played just like a bunch of different stuff. My mom loves Donny Hathaway.
Yeah.
Excuse me. Grew up on a lot of Donny Hathaway. Tower of Power.
Yeah.
Shaka Khan.
Yeah. They got a song called "Drop It in the Slot" that my friend showed me, and it just like blew my mind. I remember like that kind of old school funk, like those crazy funk lines like back in the day.
Yeah. Their band is crazy, and to this day the band is crazy.
Yeah, they still play, right?
They still play.
Crazy.
Parliament Funkadelic.
Yeah.
Songs that Hall & Oates, stuff like that,
So you've been making music for over a decade, right? Or something like that.
I've been around it my whole life, but we've only been putting out music for like a few years now.
Yeah. How long have you been like making though, and how did you get into it?
I was like an athlete, my whole life as well, and then I'd say like as I graduated high school, transitioning into like college, I found myself making beats on the laptop, and that was my, first step into like the modern music making practice.
Was it like quite similar to your sound quite now, like quite musical, quite percussive, or was it like a bit raw? Or?
You know how it is with anything. You kind of like pick something to model yourself after, and then you find your own way. So I was definitely like making beats that I heard, and then trying to make it in my own style, and just learning just by trial and error, and from the big homies around me who are good at making beats already.
Yeah. And you play quite a few instruments, right? Yeah. What do you play, and where did you get started?
I played I'm mainly a drummer, but I play keys and bass, and I kind of try and like use instruments like tools. Like I would never call myself like a pianist or a bass player. Okay. Because I would call myself a songwriter and a producer, but I can use the instruments and I could play on stage and do all those things. Yeah.
Sick. I'm looking forward to the show tonight, man. Yeah. So you grew up in Santa Monica. How would you say growing up there affected your sound?
Santa Monica is super diverse. So, you get a bunch of influence from just like a bunch of different cultures. And you grow up around a bunch of different cultures, so it's really easy to just kind of like, curate and just kind of pick what, Yeah, exactly.
And you were born in the Netherlands, right? Yeah. Has that had any influence, or did you move quite early?
I moved quite early. Okay. Yeah.
Cool. Yeah. So you signed to Interscope in 2018 through a chance meeting, right? Or was it earlier? 2018. Sorry, that's Tommy over there. Yeah, shout out to Tommy. That was through a chance meeting, right? Like you were driving someone.
Yeah, it was pretty random.
Okay, do you want to tell the story?
Yeah,
or?
Sure.
Okay.
So I had a friend I was working with, and he connected me with somebody that he had just met, probably on Instagram or something.
Yeah.
And he said, "Yo, you should write with this guy." So I met up with him. In a little bit of ways into our session, he said he had a meeting at Interscope. So I drove him over there. Yeah. And long story short, he's having his meeting, and the A&R looked at me and said, "What do? You just drive him around?" So that turned into, okay, you guys should, be a group or something. And then that turned into us kind of stretching the truth a little bit and making it seem like we already were a group, and that, we had a band and everything.
Well, you got to buy the complete package now, bro.
Exactly. So we had to sell it, and I called the homies from high school. We were in the jazz band together.
Okay.
and we kind of like pitched to Interscope that we had this band out of all the homies and this one dude that we just met.
Yeah.
But they didn't know that. And then we did a showcase, and it's a whole long crazy story, but that's pretty much the gist of it.
Okay, and when you mentioned that band, is that band The Moon, or was it a different band?
So Saul was the bass player. He was there the whole time. We had a couple different pieces involved in the very beginning, but the drummer Cam Johnson, the bass player Saul was, and myself, and the DJ Trey, we've always kind of been, that's like the moon, that's like the core of the moon. Yeah. And then there's moving parts around that, little like orbiting planets.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah, nice.
Yeah.
So coming back into recent history, you recently dropped your debut. Well, it's not really your debut, is it? Because you don't see it as an LP. No, it's just like a long EP. Yeah, 30 minutes, right? Low Tide. How's it feel?
It feels amazing. A lot of those songs were demos like a while ago when I got signed that got me in that position. Yeah. And it was a process to like, you know, see them to their full potential and then add a bunch of new songs, and we have so much music. So that was the first half of, as you know, we're doing a Low Tide, then High Tide. Yeah. So yeah, it was, you know, it's not an album as much as it's just an introduction and like an explanation, like why am I here? What have I been doing? Like this is what we sound like. And then High Tide will grow on that, and then we'll come with like a real.
Oh, okay, so High Tide is gonna be an EP as well.
It'll be the same length, pretty much. Yeah. It'll be like a, you know, continuation of.
Yeah, it kind of like they don't really matter anymore, right? Like EP, mixtape, like album. Yeah, it's just how you want to deliver. Yeah. I only now realize from saying the word Low Tide, but like it's interesting how Low Tide and High Tide are connected to the moon, as well. Exactly. Was that intentional? Like, where did the title come from?
The title comes from. I'm sorry. The title comes from sort of just like a play on how as humans, you know, on Earth, we're so fascinated with like outer space, and like going to the, you know, to the planets and going to like live on Mars and going to discover aliens and the stars and reach outward all the time. We're always trying to connect with other shit. Yeah. But on Earth, we don't even know about the ocean, right? We don't even know what's on the floor of the ocean. So it's kind of similar to ourselves, right? We're always trying to like make friends and get followers and likes and communicate, but we, you know, you might not really like fully understand yourself, so you don't know how to connect if you can't connect in here. And then we have our lows and our highs, so it's kind of just like really seeing like yourself and like exploring that before we go take off and go to space on the album.
That's an amazing analogy. Yeah, you really gotta explore yourself and pretend like maybe I'm gonna extrapolate here, but like learn to love yourself before you can love outwardly and explore outwardly, if that makes sense, you know. So it's and
a lot of people get it twisted, like loving yourself isn't always about like being a fan of yourself, because like there's people that you love that you don't necessarily like, you know, want to be like, but you love them. So it's like, what does it mean to love yourself and to know yourself before you go and connect with the stars?
Dope. So will High Tide have a different sound specifically, or a different direction, or is it kind of just a continuation and growth?
It's a continuation and a growth, so it will be different in that regard, but it's not, you know, some of the songs off High Tide were made the same time as the Low Tide joints. Most of them, a lot of them. So
there'll be like expanded versions of Joy and or like other older songs.
No. It's I mean, I had 40 songs to pick from for Low Tide. Yeah. So it's like out of those 40, the 11 that you heard made it, and those were like a lot of singles I'd already put out. Yeah. And then High Tide is gonna have, you know, some of the ones that didn't make Low Tide, but then also just like a bunch of new shit. It's gonna it gets deeper. Sick. Yeah.
Is there any date on that yet, or are we keeping that quiet? Okay. No, there's no date. I can see Tommy shaking his head. No news for you. So you, no, it's just happened. Like, you gotta enjoy it, man. Like, you gotta ride the wave. Yeah. So you mentioned before about expanding on older songs from like the 2017 days. It made me really happy to see that Low Tide brought back Cassandra for like a refresh, because it's a completely new rendition, isn't it? I heard like there's different vocals, and also you have, I'm gonna call it Ardna Sack, which is like now an expansion on it. I've got a few questions about that, but yeah, what made you choose to bring that track back for the album and with a refresh?
I've always loved that song, and when I initially made it, you know, it was like one of the first songs I ever made, and I always, you know, every time I listened to it, I heard, you know, so many things that kind of just like hit the ear, like whether it was in the mix or in the vocal or in the whatever. So, you know, I took that down a long time ago, already knowing that I was going to give that a full, you know, I had my homie Nick Kennerly play strings on it.
I didn't even know you took it down. I had to like, yeah.
Oh yeah, no, I was taken down. I had my homie play strings on it, homie play vocoder on it. You know, had the band on it, like real drums, real bass, real guitar, and just like give it what it needed. I felt like the song deserved more, you know?
Sick.
Yeah.
So I don't know if you can reveal this, but is Arnasak the Southside outro that you previously mentioned? Okay, where's that at?
That's where is that, dude?
Somewhere on email. It's on the moon.
Yeah, no, but we have a crazy outro part 2, I guess, like a alternative outro for Cassandra.
Yeah. And Arnasak is amazing.
Play for you later.
Okay, sick. I'm sorry, guys, but you know what it is. Cool. So it feels like "Do You Wrong" with Sid was a monumental point, because like I've been hip to you since like 2017. That song came out last year or late 2017? Last year. Yeah. Okay. And it felt like a lot of people who weren't aware of you finally woke up. How did that song come together, and how did you feel? How do you feel about the reception? I hear it everywhere. There's like so many SoundCloud edits.
Yeah, no, honestly, all the edits, all the covers, all the, you know, the good wishes and messages about that song, I really appreciate that. That's me, Zach Seacoff, and Sid on that song. We got into the studio one day. We were connected through mutual friends, and it was pretty organic, you know. We were just like in the studio. We made the beat on the spot, and then kind of were freestyling. It was funny. We were pretending to be like French Montana, and we were like, like doing like a bunch of like fake verses, and then eventually the words just kind of came out, and then we sang it as ourselves. Shout outs to French for the flow. Yeah, appreciate it.
That's dope.
Yeah, we didn't even stick with it, but it inspired the hell out of us.
That alternate French take. Oh
no, it was just for the humor.
Yeah. And I feel like I might be wrong, but that was one of your first like official music videos, right? How did you feel about that? Because I know you've been wanting to get into the visual side as well. And I can see that you're kind of a person who isn't just about hitting one sense. You know, it's not just about touching the air. It's also about what you present and representing it visually. So how did it feel to finally get a chance to do that? And can we expect more visuals?
Yeah, definitely. Tommy and I, we work on like all the visuals for Palm Studios. Palm Studios is like our movement, our crew, our you know, and it's been a journey. You know, we're finding ourselves, like the whole low tide high tide thing, and we're trying to figure out how the best way is to present the music visually. And "Do You Wrong" was a collaboration with Kevin Lombardo, who's a cool director from New York, friend of ours. And yeah, it was just some cool LA shit, you know, like riding in the car. Sid is obviously dope, cool as fuck. Like some chill vibes.
Yeah, sick, man. So on the album, that song's followed by "My Offer," which has this kind of like, I might be wrong, but like a South American jazz vibe. Like I played it out yesterday. Yeah, exactly. I played it out yesterday. I was DJing at Ace Hotel, and one guy comes up and he's like, "Yo, man, I love the jazz vibes." I'm like, wait, you haven't even heard like Leven come in at the end yet. How did that song come together, and like why did you? Because it's just so interesting, because it's like 3 minutes or something before you touch the mic.
Wait, before we explain that whole thing,
okay,
just pronunciation.
Sorry.
For no issue. Yeah, Leven.
Yeah, Leven.
Yeah. It's all good though. But yeah, so I have a good friend, close collaborator on the whole Low Tide project. His name is Diego. This man is like a Swiss Army knife in the studio. The dude can like engineer, he can make beats, he could play saxophone, play guitar, he can sing. And we were together in the studio, and we were just feeling like, fuck, we might as well get our fucking bossa, you know, samba jazz kind of vibe on. Yeah. And that was just a cool night in the studio, you know. You know, we weren't trying to make that song; it just kind of happened. Yeah. It's kind of the beat of it. That's usually when you get the exactly. Yeah. I think that I was playing those chords, and then we kind of just went from there. He was playing sax and shit.
Sick. And so it feels like a lot of your songs are connected beyond just the feeling. Some Wrong takes the end of None Wrong into a whole new level. What was the process behind that pair of tracks?
I made Some Wrong and Smile in the same day back in 2016. And then I had Some Wrong as like a demo for 2 years, and then I finished it and made None Wrong. Yeah. So it was kind of like you know, pick it up out the vault and then dust it off and then give it like a little homie to kick it with.
I feel like that probably happens often with you, right? Because you just have so much.
Yeah, it was just kind of the way things happened for me in the last 2 years was like super fast, and I had so much music, but it was like too much to put out. So some songs that didn't come out ended up, you know, they were still special to me, but they had to kind of get dusted off before they went back out into the world.
Yeah, and do you feel like your experiences between when you start and when you finish songs sometimes are required for you to finish them, or is it kind of just like it's just a timing thing?
It's you know, it's situational. So like some songs are done in the studio that night, some songs are never finished, and it's really like that 80 to 100%. That last 20% was the hardest to do because like art is never done, right?
Yeah. So it's deciding on a set finish point can be such a challenge sometimes, right?
Right. Just like especially, you know, when you really care and you have goals for how you want things to sound, and you'll be like, well, I could do this way, and sometimes you just gotta rock with the feeling. Oh, that feeling was right. Just leave it, and all that shit. Just it's art.
And that whole thing is part of growing in artistry, I suppose, as well. You linked up with Maxwell, who also produced Purple Emoji for Ty Dolla, but he's been like the guy from day one. Like people who know him from SoundCloud. He did like Beats Volume 1, all these amazing things. How did that come together? Because he's Aussie or is he Kiwi? Yeah.
He's a dope Aussie. I thought he was from LA. I thought he was a big black dude from LA, man. When I hear him, dude.
When you hear from them church.
I was put onto him by his manager. I met his manager somewhere, and he played me his beat tape almost in entirety, dude. Like I just kept on saying, play another one, play another one.
That whole tape. It's been years now. I'm looking for Volume 2.
Fire, yeah. No, he has a crazy one coming out. Crazy joint. But anyways, Max and I, I had a bunch of his beats for a long time, and I never did anything with them because I'm the type of guy that likes to be with somebody if I'm collaborating. I don't really, you know, sometimes you gotta send back and forth, but at least if you're sending back and forth, it'd be dope to have maybe started together and then finish from a distance.
There's a difference when you're in person, right?
No doubt, dude. So Max finally came out to LA, and we linked up and made one-on-one like super fast, and then we we added a bridge from a distance, but that song, the bulk of it was done like in the valley at his Airbnb.
Oh, amazing.
Yeah.
Dope, man. And so it feels like there's a lot of movement in your songs, from the vibe, like there's a lot of energy, but also to the beat switch ups. Going back to yours, how did that incredible second half come together? Because it's just such a slowdown into this like trappy beat with a you know?
Yeah. I've always wanted to do that type of shit where it's like, you know, kind of on that like dark twisted fantasy 2020, like, you know, the modern version of like, you know, how Luther Vandross used to have like a slow ass 5-minute intro to a song and then pow, turn to some funky shit. Like I just feel like, you know, there's no, like, look at Sicko Mode is like a trap opera, like, you know, so there's no rules. You can kind of switch up and do whatever you want. So I'm really into that, mixing genres and giving somebody like some funky shit and then making it halftime and trap it out or whatever. I love that shit.
Sick.
Oh wait, my bad.
No, you got it.
That's Ism on the beat, who's crazy. He Ism has done a bunch of big shit, and this man came out to LA from North Carolina at like 18 years old.
Okay, Ism, because I used to know a guy called Ism on SoundCloud.
ISM?
Yeah.
Maybe it's him.
That'd be crazy.
Yeah, but Ism came out to LA at a young age, and dude just took over. I met him like right when he came out there. We became, you know, good homies, and yeah, that was one of the songs we cooked up that second half. But you know, dude did like Party for Chris Brown and Gucci Mane and like a bunch of songs.
I'll have to find out if it was him because he just like disappeared on SoundCloud. But it'd be crazy if it was just the same guy because I knew he was like mad young. Yeah. So bringing it to London, you recently remixed one of our city's most exciting prospects by the name of Mahalia. How did that come together, and are you quite aware of the UK R&B scene? Like, what's going on around here?
I'm every day I learn a little something, you know. Being out here, obviously, I'm talking to people like you. You guys are all hip and know it's cool and shit. So, getting put on to some dope stuff. Mahalia is Mahalia or Mahalia or how do you? Whatever, right? Potato. Okay.
Have her tell me, but
I haven't had the pleasure of meeting her either. Okay. But that was a situation that you know, we just mutual people and she, you know, her people like my music and we like her music and it felt like a fun chance to like flip the beat and sing on it.
Yeah. Dope, man. Sorry, and getting into your remixes, if you look at that one and like the Boot Up one, you take the concept of a remix to a new level, because usually, I mean, I guess it's because you can sing as well, but like you're there like adding background vocals to their verses, adding whole new verses. How important is it for you to use all of your talents when remixing the track? Because they make them very distinctly more so than just a Leven Kali production.
Yeah, I don't know. I just be having fun, dude. Like, it's the same shit I've been doing since I started. I kind of just I love backgrounds, and why not make the beat and sing on it? It's just it just kind of I'm not trying to show off, but I'm definitely it's just fun. It's just fun. I feel like I don't know. It's just like what it feels like I should be doing when like an acapella is placed in front of me. It's like, damn, I might as well, take the whole thing to another level.
Dope. And so who are the Moon and who's playing with you tonight? Is it the full band or?
So the Moon is myself, Trey, Sap, the DJ, Cam Johnson on drums, Saul was on bass, and then like I said, we have all of our orbiting planets and stars and shit around us. So like tonight, that's the Moon. But sometimes you might come to a show and the moon will be full moon. Sometimes it'll be, so the moon could be 20 motherfuckers at the end of the day. Like, it's a lot of cats.
Yeah, and you mentioned Palm Studios before. What is that? Because I saw that they have the video on you, and I was like, oh, okay, these Palm Studio guys have made a video about you, and then it's getting mad personal of like videos of your family. I'm like, oh, okay, he is Palm Studios.
Yeah. So Palm Studios is, something that Tommy and I started just to kind of, give the homies an identity, because we're always, collaborating, and it's like a revolving door of just like photographers, designers, producers, singers, musicians, artists of all mediums. So it's really just that, everyone has like their squad, their crew. You got the making clothes and making music, all that. So that's just our thing, and it'll, more and more Palm Studios will become revealed.
So there's clothes coming out, or am I reading into that too much?
Clothes? Yeah, for sure.
Okay.
100%. We're gonna have
So
all
he
different
says,
kind of products.
Okay.
Matter of fact, we got these incense holders we can preview here if you'd like to.
Oh yeah, we can get an incense holder on camera.
We'll come back and you'll finally see what Tommy looks like.
Yeah, perfect.
Yeah, sick. So if you had to pick one track that defines Leven Kali, whether it's inside or outside of your discography, what would it be? Which way is it? You got it? Yeah,
they
you
both
get
say Zoom.
No, it's that side.
This side?
Yeah,
Okay,
you
cool. Song inside my discography that describes me. I would say Mine is a great example, because it kind of has that like, alternative R&B funk beginning, and then it turns into a little bit of a trap vibe, and I'm still singing over the trap vibe, and it has like a psychedelic element to it, but and it's one of the, I would say that's one of the foundational Leven Kali tracks. And then outside of my discography, there's a song called Super Spirit by Junie Morrison, and there's a song called These Niggas Don't Know by Ty Dolla $ign. So those two songs, I would say I'm pulled towards.
Okay, why?
You got to listen to them.
Okay.
You heard them?
No. So what kind of song is it? Gospel or?
It's everything is like gospel influence, but it's like a funky, like, Junie Morrison he just passed away in 2017, but he was like a legend. He was in Ohio Players.
Okay.
You know about Ohio Players?
I know.
You got to check out Ohio Players. They got Roller Coaster. Like that. You've heard that shit before, and like Fire. Anyways.
I see their names around a lot.
Yeah.
I gotta do my digging.
They're fire. But he was in that band, and he was a big part of like Parliament with George Clinton. And then his song, I'm about to pull it up for you right now.
Sick.
Give you some context. We're not like on the clock, right?
Nah. This
We're not live, right?
Nah.
Oh, I'm plugged into the Beats pill. Can you grab the Beats pill?
Yeah.
Yo, Ty, you gotta put that Niggas Don't Know on fucking Spotify, dude.
Is that a mixtape era?
That's sign language, the mixtape.
Okay, yeah.
Times have changed. Things are definitely different than they were back at the dawn of the dark ages. I gotta tell you, if you don't change with the times, you're definitely gonna be left behind. Check this out. Tell me, creator.
It's one of those songs I knew, but I didn't know.
Exactly. So tell me, creator, will the people laugh at me, or
Yeah.
will they see how amazing it could be if you just be yourself? You know what I'm saying?
So Tommy's got the Palm Studios incense holder. Let's just I'm gonna take video of that afterwards anyway. Yeah, you take a look and see if it's in the video.
Oh, you'll take a video of the top.
Yeah. I'll overlay it. Yeah. Sick. What? Can you check what time that is on? Because it's gonna cut at 30. What's that? Okay, we got like 4 minutes, and then I'll do a new video.
All right, cool. So we get a little background music.
Yeah.
Turn it down. We can keep going.
Sick. All right, cool. So yeah, thank you for showing us those 2 tracks, man. And we still have mine playing. No, you can keep it on if you want. Yeah. So going back, you were featured on Flex off of Playboi Carti's self-titled mixtape. That came together from a night in the studio, right, in New York.
Yeah. That shit was crazy. It was me and the homies, my girl. We pulled up to the studio. ASAP was in there, and ASAP was telling Carti, like, dog, you need some songs for the bitches, dude. Like, you gotta link up with bro right here and make a song for the bitches.
Yeah.
And then we made a song for the bitches.
Yeah. Symbols.
Yeah, it was like it was funny, dude. It was like an episode of like Empire. Like, we were in the booth at the same. You know how in those TV shows they make it seem like the artists will be in the booth together. Like,
Yeah.
it was actually like that. Like, I've never done that before.
Like 1 hour, you come back and you just got like fire in your hands.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
It was pretty funny.
Yeah.
He's
Sick.
a cool cat.
Yeah. I'm excited for a whole lot of red when it finally drops. But yeah, like he's got leaks coming out every day.
Yeah.
It's crazy. Yeah. So you worked with Drake and Cardi before having a lot of material out. Did working with such high-profile names, or rather, you were sampled by Drake, but yeah, you worked with Snow Allegra as well, all sorts. Did working with such high-profile names pressure you to get a full body of work out? Like, have you been like, has there been pressure because you're working with such high-profile names and you're seeing like all this music coming out featuring you? Was there any like, was it inspiring, demanding?
I was already planning on putting out music before those things happened. I wouldn't call it pressure. It kind of just maybe inspired me to just to like keep making music and you know, keep putting it out there, because people were, you know, like it was hitting people. People liked hearing my voice, and I was like, at first I was like, damn, this is like, you know, pretty crazy, and then it turned into like I just got to keep going, you know.
Yeah, dope. And who would you say are some of the lesser known people that got you to this point in your career? Just lesser known, like who, like if you had to shout out folks, who would you be shouting out?
There's honestly so many. My mom, my dad, my sister, my girlfriend, my best friend, my brother Zach Seacoff. Oh my god, dude! Honestly, like now I'm about to feel bad and shit.
No. We can cut this question.
There's some people on the project on Low Tide that are legendary that people may not know. There's a guy named Ricky Rouse who is just a friend, and he's, you know, Uncle Ricky now, but Ricky is played on like fucking 03 Bonnie and Clyde. He played the original Tupac, Me and My Girlfriend. Wow. He was playing on all Doggy Style shit. Any guitar you heard from like the like the Death Row era, like, was probably Ricky. A lot of bass lines for Dre and Suge and all that shit, like, and then tours with Shaka and P-Funk, and he's playing guitar on Cassandra. And Art Nasik was actually because he was just jamming after we recorded him on Cassandra. Yeah. And then that guitar loop was just like, that's just one guitar take. And it was so crazy that I was, my bad. It was, no, good call. It was just so crazy that we turned that into a full song. But yeah, he's dope. My other uncle Alex Alessandroni, a legend. These are just people you can Google and see, like, fact, like they've been playing with, you know, with whoever. Oh my God. let me see. Let me think. I just woke up and got out the shower before this, so give
I
me.
shouldn't have put that on you, man.
No, it's all good because I wanna shout out the homies. I love the homies. And the
That
home
incense
and the
is smelling
home
good, by the
girls, huh?
That incense is smelling good, by the way. Shout out to Palm.
Is it hitting you pretty tough right now?
No, it's
Okay.
good. It's good. No.
Yeah. Man, well, something will hit me and I'll grab this mic and I'll shout them out.
We'll come
later.
back to it, yeah. But yeah, was there like a song that was specifically tough to write or took the longest to finish off Low Tide?
Which one? Which one took the longest? There's a couple songs on High Tide that have been. It's not about like how long. It's like a song. Like I'll put a song down, and then it'll seem like it took forever because I didn't touch it for
The
like.
framework was almost done.
Right. So
Finishing touches
So we'll be
just-
hyped off a song for a year, being like, oh, when that's done, that's gonna be crazy. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
I hate that shit.
Yeah. All right, final question. What are your plans for the next 12 months?
Next 12 months, more shows, more humor, better clothes,
Yeah.
fucking get healthy and shit.
Yeah.
Put out some classic shit.
You've already been doing that, man. So,
Thank you.
nah, for real. Thank you so much for the interview, man.
Thank
Much
you. I
love.
appreciate it. Thank you.
Much respect, man. Cheers, bro.
The energy in here is crazy. I can't even hear y'all singing so loud. This shit was crazy. I honestly can't thank you guys enough. Yo, do we have time for one more song before we get out of here?